what's ripening YouTube. So it's a little bit windy. Hopefully you can hear me out here. We're getting a little bit of rain, finally. Kind of unusual amount of rain for this time of year. And when we get rain, I get excited to start planting. So I'm going to show you what I'm working on right now. Here's the bed. What I've got here is this big long pathway. I decided to go ahead and put in a mid-row. The mid-row that I'm putting in this agroforestry system is a short-term mid-row. There's usually, you can, the term A line and B line kind of mixes in there. The A line being my main trees, the B for me being my support species or my short-term crop species. In this case, I'm concentrating on bananas, and I'm also interplanting with malanga and black sugarcane. I'm doing an experiment here. You can't see it now, but I've actually been burying whole fish underneath these bananas. So in the past, I always get questions about, you know, what kind of fertilizer do you use? How do you keep your plants growing? In the past, it's just been wood chips and occasionally some wood ash from the fire or some biochar. But this is going to be an experimental plot. And so what I'm doing is adding fish, and I'm actually also adding horse manure from next door. So the fish is coming from, there's a guy that's got a pond that he's dewatering. There's tons of fish, just dead, you know, dying or dead fish over there that need to be put to use. Father-in-law actually, he goes fishing all the time, and there's always bycatch of something. So I told him just to save some for me, and I've been putting some at the bottom of each of these holes, covering it up, and then I'm going to use the horse manure as a top dress. And so here's kind of the, you know, all the work's been done. All I did was come through here with my tiller, and then I raked all the grass to the two sides, and then I dug my holes. I've got all my planting material staged out here. In this case, I decided to put the bananas at 8 feet centers, and the sugarcane is going to go right in the middle, and then the malanga goes in between each one. And I'll show you my other bed that I've already started. Here's one that I've just finished planting, and I'm getting ready to mulch it. So this is basically the same pattern. You can see all the dwarf namois are put in here every 8 feet. I've got the sugarcane put in. I've got the malangas on either side. And then actually I just came through and seeded in, see if I can find one here. Seeded in these jack beans. So I'm putting jack bean pretty densely along both sides of the row, and then I also put ice cream bean seeds on either side within the midline of the sugarcane. So those are going to be my service species to come up and occupy space, fix nitrogen, and give me something to cut and put back in place. What you'll notice is all this brown material. So I actually recently came across a resource for this type of material that's I can actually get delivered to me now instead of having to go get it by the trailer load, which was a pain in the butt. There's what's remaining of the truckload I got recently. I just came over here with my tractor, dumped a bucket load on each banana, raked it around, and then came back and dumped a bucket load in between each banana, flattened it all off, and then I'm planting directly into this this composted wood mulch. Again, I have all the grass and everything, all the tillings have been scraped to the side, so there's kind of this dish in the middle, which is where all the nutrition is, which is going to feed this midline. And one thing you'll notice is that I have a lot of very hungry plants in here, so that's why I'm putting so much into this planting. I'm really trying to figure out how much of an impact I can have by adding some nutrition other than wood chips, because I've been growing these dwarf namois for like, I don't know, since my other house, so probably like 6 or 7 years. It's a superstar variety. It fruits for me very well. I want to see if I can get more. I want to see if I can see what the difference is if I actually do pump some nutrition into these. And then I'm actually doing the same thing for a variety that I'd given up on. So one of my favorite tasting bananas is the Mysore, or Pisang Ceylon is another. I think they kind of get interchanged, the two names. I love that banana. It's a Indian dessert banana, rather tall, really pretty. Oh, you'll see it right here. And it's got this kind of like pinkish red hue on the leaves, pretty tall. And I've seen it fruit heavy before, but I've never had it fruit really heavy for me. I've had a few decent racks, but I've never had the real heavy racks that I've seen other people have. And I think the reason is because I think this is a hungrier variety. So same thing I was talking about over there. I put horse manure and fish at the bottom of the hole, put more horse manure around it, and then I've just started bringing the mulch in. I'm going to mulch it even deeper than this and see if I can get my sort of pump. Because if I can get my sort of pump, I'm going to be a happy man. I love that banana. The Namwa I like for the best one to grow here, and I love it for making smoothies and also dehydrating. But my favorite to eat out of hand is the Mysore, so I'm hoping I can get that one to pump up. But I just wanted to show kind of some of the while it's happening stuff. Maybe I'll put the GoPro on my hat and we'll get a little bit more POV footage. Some of you guys were commenting that you like that. So anyway, that's what's growing on right now. We'll see what's ripening soon enough, and I'll keep you guys updated. Well, I stopped for the rain, and as soon as I parked the tractor, it quit raining again. So anyway, I'll show you how I like to spread the mulch. So as I said before, all the grass, this is all still halfway alive grass in here, has been pulled to the sides. So I'm going to make an effort to go really high, covering that stuff up. And since I just put in seeds here, I'm not going to go real heavy on in the middle. Now, as you saw, I can only turn my tractor so much in here, and I don't want to dump on top of what I've already done. So I'm having to accept that I'm dropping material, and then I've got to reorganize it with a pitchfork. And if you have the ability to give yourself more space to do this, where you can turn your tractor, that's always a better option. But like I said, this is the midline. I'm kind of just filling up space, and you know, sometimes you run out of space and you just have to do some hand labor. It's not that big of a deal, but if you're doing a lot of this, it can become a big deal. So all I'm doing is trying to scoop what's on the grass back up onto the top, and you'll see the pattern that I'm going for is this hot dog bun that I mentioned in a previous video, and it'll be kind of exaggerated because, like I said, I'm trying to choke this grass that's underneath here. As I go, you'll see the planting down the middle, and you'll see these two big windrows of material. And then because I've seeded in the jack bean, that's going to fill up with green, and it's going to spill out over the top of the mulch. At least that's the idea. And then so by the time the mulch breaks down, I will have established a really good cover. And I can even put like a little bit of, little bits of mulch in here. I want to make sure those seeds come up, so I'm not going to go super heavy. But sometimes I'll take my time and do this if I have the time. Sometimes I'll kind of just get her done, and it just depends on how much time you have. But might as well do this and have something to look at. Nice easy pathway to walk down. I was gonna do trees in here, but now that I bought that other property, I don't really want to go more dense than I need to with my long-term species, because this, like I said, this is short-term crops. Bananas, let's say I keep them here 3 or 4 years. Taro's coming out end of this year. Sugarcane, I'll get 3 or 4 years. And then if I want to, I can bush hog this whole thing down and start over like it never happened. So that's the succession I'm looking at here. If this was a main tree line, you could plant similar to this, but you'd want to plant trees in here, and then these would come out, that would come out, and your trees would replace this over time. but that's not my intention with this particular planting. So I'm kind of a stickler for getting my edges straight. I like to have a consistent width on my beds so that if I come back here, it's consistent maintenance. And you'll hear me talking about maintenance a lot because I think that's one of the most overlooked aspects of this type of work is the maintenance, because most people have never done it and they don't know. You don't realize that you're creating work for yourself, and while it may be enjoyable work, it's still work. It adds up, and why not prepare for it and make it easier on yourself? So I'm gonna keep going with this, and we'll see what it looks like here in a little bit. So there you have it. This is the pattern. I'm gonna obviously do it on both sides. I gotta go get the tractor now since it stopped raining briefly. Move some more mulch and keep it growing.